The salty wind stung Malik's face as he gripped the wooden edge of the fishing boat. The vessel was barely large enough to hold the 10 passengers huddled together, their clothes damp from sea spray. Somewhere beyond the endless horizon was the promise of a new life, far from the war-torn village they had left behind at dusk. Beside him, his younger sister Layla clung to his arm. "Will we make it?" she whispered. Malik forced a smile. "Yes," he said. "We will." The moon's silver glow shimmered over the waves as the boat rocked. The captain, an old man with a deep scar across his brow, steered silently, his eyes locked on the constellations. The first few hours passed in silence, but then the wind shifted. Dark clouds gathered, swallowing the stars. The sea churned and waves crashed against the boat. A woman cried out as water splashed over the side, soaking their meager belongings. "We have to bail out the water with Stune," the captain shouted. Malik grabbed an empty plastic jug, cut in half, and began scooping out the rising seawater. His arms ached, but he kept going. The boat rocked violently. Layla screamed as lightning split the sky. Then came the wave. A towering wall of water rose in the darkness. For a moment, time froze. The wave crashed down, flipping the boat sideways. Malik felt himself thrown into the icy depths. Cold, blackness, silence. Malik thrashed, his lungs burning. His hands clawed through the water, searching. "Layla!" Then through the murky blue, he saw her. She was sinking, her arms reaching toward him. With one final kick, Malik lunged, grabbing her wrist. He pulled her close and swam upward, his chest tight with lack of air. Just as his vision darkened, they broke the surface. The wreckage of the boat floated around them. Voices called out. The storm had passed, but now they were stranded in the vast, empty ocean. Morning light painted the sky pink and gold. The survivors clung to the remains of the boat, shivering. A young man named Yusuf had managed to salvage a few bottles of water and a bag of dates. He passed them around. "We need to stay together," he said. "Someone will come." Hours turned into a day. The sun burned overhead. Malik's throat was parched. Layla lay against him, too weak to speak. A distant shadow moved on the horizon, but it vanished before he could be sure it was real. Night fell again. The ocean stretched, endless and cruel. Malik's limbs ached, but he refused to let go of Layla. Then a faint hum, a light. Malik's heart pounded. A ship. He cupped his hands around his mouth and shouted with the last of his strength. Others joined in, their voices hoarse but desperate. The ship turned. A spotlight beamed onto the wreckage. People rushed to the deck, throwing down ropes and life rings. Strong hands pulled them aboard. Malik collapsed, clutching Layla as warmth and safety surrounded them. "You're safe now," a voice said. Malik closed his eyes, letting the words sink in. After everything, they had survived. The ocean had tried to take them, but it had also carried them to hope.